Okay, I gotta turn this over.
If you want to.
I don't know if I have to.
Sometimes I'll make it home, y'all. They're wasted. No one can make it go away.
All right, everybody, welcome to the latest edition of Miss Bomey's Zone. Gonna have an interesting topic. I'm sure everybody has. I think this one's going to be more of an interpretive thing, though, because like crazy jobs to me are going to be different than crazy jobs to you. All right, and crazy jobs to somebody else. So I mean, it's going to be kind of subjective to the person. You agree?
Yeah, I think so.
Because a person who skydives for fun is not going to think a model whose job it is to model things while skydiving. They're not going to think that's weird. They're not going to think that's odd.
It's weird. I'm just saying.
So what now? There's lots of different ways. Odd, scary, all that. Let's say scary. What do you think the scariest job is?
You know what I think would be the scariest job is if you're the person that's got to go way up at the top of the tower where you got to change the light.
Yes, that for me, you know what? I'll hang out. I mean, I've hung off the side of choppers. I don't know what it is. It doesn't seem to bother me. But man, I do not want to climb one. That was 1,700 and some odd feet in the air, and you see what they were working with? The tiny little spot his knee barely fit. That's his office, and he has to change that light bulb, and his knee barely even fits on there.
Yeah, no, thanks.
Jolson says it. Craziest job for Jolson is being Joey's mom. Yeah, okay, that's
yeah. Okay. So, before we get into more of the crazy, weird, strange jobs, I just wanted to share something with you today. This is kind of funny. So, originally, as most of you know that are listening and will be listening, we were going to have Mario on the show, and he couldn't make it. So, this is how we ended up with the crazy job scenario. So in the meantime, I'm sorry to say, John, I didn't have a lot of time to do some research on the crazy jobs things because I got a bit distracted this afternoon. So I'm sitting in the living room. I'm talking with my brother. We're just yakking it up. All of a sudden I hear a Harley go by, because, I'm all about the motorcycles. Mm-hmm. Then I hear another one go by my house, and then 3, and then 4. And then there's more, and they keep coming down my street. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, because I'm like a couple blocks away from like the main drag. So I thought, did something happen where there was a car accident and they're rerouting everybody? No, turns out that these people on the motorcycle were stopping for my neighbor across the street. There must have been, about 50 bikes. And I am just in heaven because, I love motorcycles. So I'm getting my shoes and I'm going out there and I'm checking the cell out. And turns out that these people were here and they're from a group, if you will, called Tribute to the Troops. They conduct motorcycle rides and visit families of fallen heroes.
Okay.
So my neighbor, who I don't really know that well, the occasional wave at you and say hi, her brother was killed in Iraq.
All right.
So they came to, pay homage, if you will. And they gave her some pretty neat gifts. They gave her, what do you call those coins? Challenge coins. They had one person speak about her brother. So she had like all these people in their front yard. It was crazy and amazing at the same time. So it's kind of funny to realize that you really don't know very much about your neighbors until something like this happens.
Yeah.
As I'm walking towards, the motorcycles, there was this older lady, and she had to be probably, if I had to guess, early 70s. She comes up to me. She says, "I just want to let you know, dear, that this isn't a motorcycle gang." And I said, "Well, I don't think so." She says, "We're here and we're talking to your neighbor across the street," and told me about this, what was going on, and explained it. So I grabbed Eric, and then we went outside, and he went across the street, and he videoed it in his phone, the whole thing. And that was really nice to see. Because I got the impression that her brother must have passed a while ago, but they, came around just to say, "Hey, we haven't forgotten about you. And if there's anything that you need or anything that we can do for you, that we're here for you." And you could tell that these people sincerely meant it, because the amazing thing is that when they were done talking, every person went up and introduced themselves to her and gave her a hug.
That's cool. Very cool.
So as we're, doing this, I will start talking to anybody, about bikes and stuff, and then that led to, why are you here? So I got to meet some of the people, and I'm sorry that the names have escaped me, but I was talking to a mom who lost her son in the war, mom and dad both. And then there was another couple too that had lost one of their sons. And she said if it wasn't for, having this organization and getting out there and doing something, she said that, she wanted to know really kind of how to go on, because when you go through the process of being so grief stricken, you don't really know what to do with yourself. And so these two couples were very involved in the organization. They were telling me a great deal about it. But long story short, it's a Minnesota chapter that started here 15 years ago, and it has now grown to 5 different chapters, and they're pretty much coast to coast throughout the whole United States. So what they do is they will go and, find out a story from the person or people that, tell them, and then make their way to stop by and pay them homage.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm sorry that I didn't get a lot of time to sit and do the research, but I was kind of busy talking to everybody because
Well, that would make sense.
I needed a chance to talk to people about stuff like that. And so I told them about our what we do in our Justin's Final Mission, and what we're doing with our end of it, with the trying to help vets with the the suicide and all, and they were very interested in it. In fact, I got one of the husband and wife's cards that has their email address, so I'm going to email her because she wanted to know more about it, and then that way I can find out a little more about their organization as well.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I do have a question though, and I don't know if you can answer this, but what does it mean when they say that they are a proud Gold Star parent?
Gold Star. That's the have a service member overseas. Those are the flags you see at homes that have a star there.
Mm-hmm.
Gold, yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that I just wanted to point out, and then we can go back to talking about our craziest jobs. But the thing that I thought was so amazing about this is, and me, I'm all up into the bikes, and I'm looking at everybody's bikes. But I thought was so cool and so amazing, and what a way to pay homage to, the ones that have fallen. Almost every single bike that I've seen had the person's name, their rank, what part of the military that they were in, and then the date that they passed.
Well, that's awesome.
And I thought it was really cool that they incorporated it into it. There was one guy's motorcycle, and I think he was the lead guy, was he not?
He was, one of the very front
I think
ones.
he was the front one, and if I'm not mistaken, the original guy that got this thing going in the first place. He had his whole bike just decked out, and it had an awesome paint job on there, and it had the scenario of the not forgotten, and whoever it was that had passed, and then put on there not to forget any of the people that have made the sacrifices of fighting for our freedom. It was just an amazing, crazy paint job that I've ever seen on a motorcycle. Not to mention it was a very nice Harley.
Yeah, I kind of just grazed over when you asked about the Gold Star. I kind of grazed over there, but I just know was thinking. There's not probably some people out there who won't know what that is. Most people do know what. If you didn't know, it started a long time ago. It's moms who had lost sons back at the time. It was lost sons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, things have changed now. All right, so it doesn't. It's not just. Well, if you've got a definition, it'd say a mother who lost her son, into the war or whatever. But now it's daughters as well. So the meanings have changed since back then. I think it was in the 20s it started.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like in the 20s for like from World War I originally. But you'll see there's a flag. It's like rimmed in red and it has a white background. There's a gold star on there, and it's like a memorial to you lost a loved one. One of your children overseas, not necessarily overseas, wherever the war was at.
Right. And I did see quite a few of them like stamped on their motorcycles as well. So that's why I was curious to ask, because I wasn't really really aware of that until just now. But yeah, it was crazy and it was amazing, and what a way to meet our neighbor. Hi, you have all these people in your front yard. So she was kind of funny because after it got done, and that's the other thing. When they were all leaving, my neighbor's has a son. He's in the military. He is a Marine. He stood on the corner and he saluted all the vets as they went past on their bikes.
It was very nice.
So that was really nice. So she's with her son, and they're kind of going back to the house, and we're walking on the opposite side of the street of them, and she's like, I'm so sorry that if that bothered you. And I'm like, oh heck no, and then we kind of talked for a couple of minutes. So it was kind of nice to meet her, but what a way to meet your neighbor.
Yeah. But now she's not just your neighbor.
No.
No, yeah. So that's different.
Yeah.
You can't. Now it used to be long ago. We all knew all of our neighbors. Now it's different.
Yeah, it is. It's very different.
I've said before. My grandfather always said, "You want to meet your neighbors? Every morning, get up and go out and sweep your front porch. You'll meet your neighbors. Don't have to do anything. Just sweep the front porch every morning."
Yep.
And you know how true that is?
It is.
If you go out and sweep the porch every morning, all right, your front door stoop, whatever it is you want to call it, you sweep that every morning. You see people jogging by. They come by every morning at that time. There's people walking their dog, and they're waving at you like, who the hell's that? Who's that? I mean, when I'm out mowing the lawn, I see people all the time out there like, hey, how you doing? I love the way you have those flowers there. And you're like, okay, all right, thank you. But you get hard. I don't know what it is about it. You get hardened nowadays. I find myself, I get hardened. I'm not so easy with other people, where I used to be a lot easier. I don't know what it is. It's just times change, and it always seems like when someone walks up to your yard, you're defensive now. What do they want? What are they doing here?
Yeah. Why are you looking at me? Yeah, and that's kind of it. But yeah, it was crazy. It was amazing. I think that it's a great thing that organization is doing.
What's the name of the organization? It's
called Tribute to the Troops, and they actually have a website, which is the tributetothetroops.org. If anybody is interested in looking on their webpage. So, yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to it, and that's that. But it was, it was kind of crazy. I ended up just standing there talking to people for quite a while until they were ready to roll out of there.
Gunwald One has a suggestion. He says we'll meet a lot more people if we wash our car in the nude. I think Jeff,
And the police.
I think I'd meet a lot more cops, Jeff, if I wash my car in the nude.
The cops would be like, sir, could you please put your clothes back on?
Can you imagine? Be like, listen, one day, 5 times we've been here. I don't know what your problem is, dude, but put something on, cover that up, and
Yeah.
go to a car wash, please. I'm
So-
not coming back today.
Put your clothes back on. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to share that story because it's not something that happens every single day. You know, first of all, I don't get 50, Harleys and every other make and model of motorcycle coming down my street.
Well, no, yeah, yeah. I mean, every once in a while. Now I live on a main drag, so it happens to me actually a lot.
Yeah.
I get a lot, but I mean, it's not. It might be $30-$40 come charging down the road, so I'm used to hearing that. But it's still, it'll make you look.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because they're just like they're 2 abreast, and they're hauling butt down there. And since in front of my street's 25 miles an hour, so they already are not happy because they have to slow. They come off from 55, and it's like boom down to 25. So the whole procession goes by slow, and I get them all the time. Especially now we got leaf peepers. Huh? I think it just started in your neck of the woods too, right?
What's that?
Leaf. They're turning. They're changing.
Yes. I posted on
No.
my Facebook page the other day. I'm
No.
like, look at
No.
it's changing.
No.
We have to have a talk with Mother Nature.
No.
I'm
it's
not
not-
happy with her
It's
right
not
now.
happening.
Eric thinks he can just go no.
And I'll take it. No.
No.
Stay.
A stern no will stop the process.
We'll stop it. Oh my gosh.
So since your hubby's there with you and he's hanging out, we'll ask him. Let's do a different one. What's the dumbest job that you've heard of, Eric?
Ugh. Dumbest job.
Yeah.
I don't know. I suppose it's some of the stuff that you hear that different companies or places like hotels or resorts have, special, basically the kind of pampering that the rich and the famous have to have.
I can't answer that one.
I don't, like these days, they're changing the names of things. I don't know if it's so that they can charge more money or make it sound better. Like, we don't have, what do they originally call it? Where you take your dog to, and now they're resorts or, doggy daycare facilities.
Doggy spa and doggy hotels.
Oh,
Yeah.
Totally on and also off topic. I just was sitting downstairs. I had a load in the pressure caster, and I had half hour or whatever before the next one came out of the other caster. So I just ended up with this half hour time. I sit down. First commercial I see is they show this dog that's all depressed, and they're talking about how long ago we used to leave our dogs at home for 8 hours just by themselves for 8 hours. But now that won't happen again that there's doggy TV. Oh my God. They have dog channels now.
Okay. And who determines what's going to be put on these dog channels that the dogs
Well-
are going to be interested in watching?
I find it kind of hilarious because like Dottie is, you've seen Dottie. She's a puggle. She's nothing, no one's afraid of her. Yet she believes she's like, 860-pound polar bear. So she growls at anything that comes around. So any other dog upset. So can you imagine? I would take this dog, and in an effort to try to calm the dog down, I put pictures of other dogs, and she spends the entire day trying to kill them. I was just laughing. I was like, that's a dumb job. Can you imagine being the person who has to freaking set the programming for that stuff? Okay, we need a new program. Fido licks himself. So we're going to do that for a half-hour promo. That's just would be insane. They have a job, though. They have a job of a professional sleeper.
Yeah. Going back to the dogs, though, they also have a dog food taster. That to me is ridiculous.
A dog. Oh, wow. I didn't even see
Yeah.
that.
Is that for the royal dog? Someone has to eat the food to see if they
The dog
die.
food taster's job is to taste new dog food products, including bones, tinned meals, and biscuits. They do this to test for flavor and texture in comparison to rival dog food brands and human food. Okay.
All right. Okay. I withdraw the sleeper and go with the dog food taster. That is a stupid job.
Well, yeah. So what do you do for a living? I'm a professional dog food taster.
Okay, date's over.
Yeah,
Now
nice.
there's a guy you know when he goes on a date, he's got his fingers crossed. God, I hope she doesn't ask me what I do for a living. Please don't.
Don't ask me that question.
You know he doesn't get a kiss at the door. He gets a.
Mm-mm.
But there's been jobs that were jokes before that are real now. I mean, playing video games. How many of us parents had our parents say, "You're not going to play video games for a living. You need to go to school. Stop playing video games." And what
Yeah.
happens now? You can actually play video games for a living.
Oh yeah. Oh, excuse me, that's crazy. I want to take a moment to say hi everybody in the chat room that's in there so far. It looks like we have Smile Money, we have Ed, Gunwild1, J-Dog, Douglas. I did say Ed, Janina.
Jolson's in there.
Gilson's in there, 911 USA. Who else we got? Otis71. So thanks for joining us in the chat room this evening, and thanks to everybody out there that is listening to us live.
Oh, and amazingly enough, I had the system. I was redoing the system, putting another piece of it together, and no sooner did I get this piece put together than I believe it was Jolson who sent a message through our phone system that's for the show that I haven't got all done yet, but the message works. So you can actually leave a voicemail. You can actually leave a voicemail on that number for us, and it will convert it into text and send it back to me. And you can it's texting. I'm receiving those texts. I think it was Jolson who sent it. Yeah, I actually can receive text via that right now. That part's going now, and I get alerted that there's a message, and yep. I don't know if Jolson's still on here or not. I think it was him. But yeah.
Yeah.
Ed says there's a job called a professional cuddler.
Cuddler.
Boy, can you imagine that on a date? Start smelling. Hey, no, don't get. No, it's okay. I'm a professional. I do this.
I found Joey's career.
What's that?
Bull semen collector.
Oh God, that's one of those horrible ones.
You're taking your chances with that. I'm just saying.
Time to milk the
I
bull.
would rather be the knife thrower's assistant. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Oh my heaven! Yeah, they've got some crazy wild jobs. The stuff that blows my. I mean, like there's some pretty dangerous jobs. Now, one of the things I did notice when I was doing a little research is what they're considering dangerous jobs is kind of odd because there's two different classifications. They have per capita, whatever it is, deaths. So they consider like yard work. I'm not kidding you. When you go to look at it, they'll go, well, more people die in yard work. And you're like, oh, okay, all right.
Really?
And they had roofers, and you're like, listen, I've done plenty of roofing in my life. It can be dangerous if you're stupid. Yes. Dangling off a helicopter. headed towards a 6,000 volt line where if you ground out, you die,
Yeah.
and you're going to hang on. Now that to me seems to be a dangerous job. But roofing, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it can be if you're not
Mhm.
smart. If you're not smart, any job can be. You know what I mean? But there are jobs that are just inherently. I mean, you put all those guys in the middle of the North Bering Sea, where the water freezes to the boat instantly, and you have to slam it off so the boat doesn't capsize, and then you make them work, 29 hours straight, and then now hit them with a storm. It's like everyone be on your game, hang on the side of a rail and do crab fishing.
Oh
That's just
yeah. How many
that's
times
just
did you see that on Deadlift?
yeah.
know?
That is where it's like, here's what we're gonna do. You don't even have to be stupid. We're just gonna set the stage for you. We're gonna take every piece of danger that could be possible, and the
Yeah.
threat of dying, and now I want you to work
You
there.
can do really well, but
Oh yeah. That's those are the when I'm talking dangerous. That's what I'm talking about when I say dangerous.
yeah.
Because I looked it up online. They had yard work, roofing. They had and it's like, yeah, lawnmowers. How many idiots have stuck their toe in a lawnmower? Okay, yeah, I got you. Tens of thousands of people have done it. Therefore, it becomes the most dangerous. Yeah, I don't agree with that. Those guys climbing that tower? Hell.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I'll
Thanks
mow
for
the
bye.
I'll mow the lawn. Thanks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just, oh my heavens, I couldn't believe that. I've watched that one several times, but I mean, whew, man, I start to feel funny watching it.
Mm-hmm.
When he just starts letting go of stuff and reaching up and going, whoa, dude, I find myself going, put the clip on. Dude, put the clip on.
Yeah.
I mean, but to be over 1,700 feet in the air and you're just free climbing
Yeah.
with you've got safety gear hanging off of you, but it's not attached to anything. I mean, woof.
No thanks.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Okay.
like that. Yeah,
No, no.
that's not. Now, what's the scariest one that you encountered? Have you encountered a scary job at all?
No. Not really.
Have you encountered a dangerous job?
No, I'm sorry. I'm pretty boring.
So she's never seen a dangerous job. She does not have a favorite restaurant. She does not.
I'm just saying. I mean,
Ooh.
jobs that I've had in the past, no, nothing. Now, I can tell you that the people that I work with, the security guards, I think from time to time that their jobs could be potentially dangerous,
Oh, heck
depending
yeah.
upon who the person is that they're trying to deal with.
Yeah.
Because
Do you
there's
have
no-
any friends? Do you have any friends or acquaintances that have dangerous jobs? Those scary jobs.
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
I have
just have to go.
I have no favorite restaurant, and I like to surround myself with people who also don't have favorite restaurants. Thank you, John.
I hang around boring people. Oh, this is my life.
I knew a lady who got pepper in her eye once.
Be like, Christine, do you have any friends that have any dangerous jobs? Yes.
Yeah. What are they? I don't.
No, I don't.
I don't know.
Well, I guess I could take that back. My uncle was a fireman, so that's a pretty dangerous job. My other uncle was a policeman. That could at times be a potentially dangerous job, but that's about it.
Thankfully, I don't send home pictures of the different positions I've had a skid steer in over the last couple of weeks.
I was watching a skid steer video. I watched the guy dancing a skid steer. I thought it was crazy. I couldn't believe it. They can do a lot of those things. Just amazing.
Smile when he says I was a volunteer firefighter for 10 years. It was fun because I was young and stupid. Just
Yeah,
drink that.
The only difference now is he's old.
Mhm.
Boom, boom.
I had a buddy who, and I did some work with him for a little bit, and it's a weird job, but it is incredibly dangerous. Going into these old barns that are half collapsed, and you start to dismantle them. But you go in. I mean, I've actually been into the thing's collapsing around you, and you're in it. You're actually in there looking to see if there's any salvage in there. They want everything out of these things. I mean, it is crazy insane. There'll be a hole in the roof. The roof's caved in. The barn's kind of leaning off a little bit to one side, and you're going in. You going inside, and you're going to go verify everything, and then you have to see if you have to stabilize anything and get planks up to stabilize it because they want to take it apart. They literally take off each piece of wood. They don't knock it down. They take it apart because all of it's for sale. Because you can't get an 18-inch board anymore. You get wood that's been a set. They take small pieces of wood, they glue it up, and there's your board. They finger joint it all. But I mean, when you want to get a big beam, you got to get it out of one of those. So they want every piece of that wood. And I remember when the first time he said we got to go inside, I'm like, go inside. It's falling down. He's like, well, we have to go inside though. I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, that's there you go. That's
Well,
a special moment.
we just cribbed up a house, removed all 4 basement walls, and then found out from the block layer that he needed another 2.5 inches to be able to get the last course in. So we had to raise the house another 2.5 inches into the air.
Whew.
See, now if you actually do this kind of stuff for a living, they bring in a couple of big beams. They put 4 cribbings in each corner of the house and a computer-controlled self-leveling hydraulic system. Instead, you got me and Greg and 6 20-ton jacks.
Yep, that's a blast.
And
And a whole shitload of stuff that can go wrong. You can drop the house.
Oh, yeah, and it's
Yep.
that Friday that we started doing that and then finished it on Monday morning. That was that was a bad day to stop sniffing glue.
Yep. Let's see. We got some people that doing engine run onload and offloads of C-130. Oh yes. Yep. I'll bet that's a crazy job. Arnold Schwarzenegger stuntman. Yeah. Brian McCown. He had to climb inside an 18-inch crematorium chimney stack. Oh yeah. Holy
Yeah.
cow. We've got some massive chimneys out here in Maine. From the old mills, we have like so many mills all over. All the mills are gone, but a lot of the textiles for the country long ago came from up here in Maine. So we have so many of those. But we have chimneys that are what?
The funniest job I think I've come across so far, since we're talking about job, toilet paper sniffer.
Well, it won't be hard. We know that for sure.
Sorry.
Boy, can you imagine that? So you think you could do that? So what exactly am I looking for? Really?
You're looking for foul smells
Gee.
before, during, and after use. Oh, ish.
I'm telling
Wait,
you right now.
whoa, hold on. Before I got, did you say during and after?
And after
Okay.
use.
All right.
That has to go in the funniest and grossest category ever.
I also want to take here's the subcategory under that. I want to find out who my true friends are. Toilet paper over the top or
Under.
or under.
Under.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to take you off my Christmas card list.
Over the top makes no sense. You give it one tug and then half of it falls on the floor. Gotta go behind. Sorry.
Yeah, but if it's behind, now it's laying on the fucking wall. I mean, the darn wall. So sorry,
That's
sorry.
it. There we go. Just lost.
Yeah, it's done.
I am not ever having.
So the funniest thing is our little Sammy Poo used to work for the hotel just down the street.
Yep.
So just to mess with her brain, I started doing that little triangle fold on the toilet paper. So I'd be like still in bed, hearing her getting ready to go to work on a Saturday morning. Damn it, Dad! I'd yell from the bathroom.
Should have got you some of those sanitized for your protection little labels you put over the toilet
And leaving Andy's mint on her pillow.
there. Yeah. I cannot believe that. Before, during, and after. Wow.
Oh God.
That is messed up.
I got nothing. You can excuse yourself now.
What in the world was that?
Oh, that's Eric's phone going off.
That
That's
was-
normal.
That was Jeremy.
Now they were talking about some of the worst jobs to have.
So yeah, what are
Right.
some of the worst jobs?
It's unusual. They say assembly workers is one.
Mhm.
Apparently the boredom is just like nothing, no other. Apparently it's great when you start, but then once you've stuck that screw in that hole 14,738 times, you're going, where is my life going? Where am I going? Where is my life going? I was on a date the other day. She asked me what I do for a living. I went like, I put this in here. That's it. Done.
That's it.
Bank teller. They say bank teller.
Bank teller? Boring?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Worst job. They say bank teller. Number 2 worst job.
Wow.
Says factors impacting the rating. Bank tellers' jobs are projected to decline by 8%. Apparently, the boredom and the repetitious behavior is the issue or whatever. Coal miner. Well, yeah, I guess coal miner would be a bad job to have.
I don't know if this falls in the bad job category, but I found vomit cleaner.
Actually, there's a lot of those. They tend to be employed by your fun parks.
Yes, that's the amusement parks.
Yeah,
It's
there's
really-
that. There's a lot of those because it's biohazard, so you have to have like special stuff. You don't just go rolling by, slap a mop on it. It's a biohazard. It's treated like blood or it's treated like blood or feces. It comes out from inside the body. It's biohazard. Yeah, it's an issue.
I didn't ever would have thought about that. Well, I don't know, do you think a fun job would be a water slide tester?
Well, it could be a lot of fun. I mean,
Unless you're like the first ever, and then there's like safety issues that you found.
I know telemarketers are becoming a pretty crappy job.
Oh. How many times they get, sworn at, hung up on, or cursed at?
Yeah, that's a promising thing to tell your date. So what do you do for a living? I'm a telemarketer. Oh, really? Well, here's me hanging up on you.
Meet Mr. Click. Yeah, when you search this, there's all kinds of crazy things that come up.
Apparently, social workers in certain categories is horrific. I never would have even thought about it. They say that some of them are faced with such demoralizing situations. They have 7 to 14 weeks off a year.
Wow.
And
That's a lot of
apparently,
mental-
they want you to use those. They need you to. Apparently, it's very experienced from people going through crises with orphan children, sexually and physically abused victims, and all this stuff. Apparently, it takes one hell of a horrific toll on your mental state. So they give them a ton of vacation time. apparently it's a really bad job. You meet the worst of humanity.
Well, you probably need it. You know, a lot of mental health days when you're dealing with stuff like that.
Apparently, a customer service advisor. Crappy job. Horrible job. Well, I would imagine it would probably be a bad job since we're so used to everybody being from India. If you're from India, I'm not talking about your nationality. I'm talking about the customer service jobs in India, where you're trying to deal with somebody who's already started off wrong. We like, thank you for calling. My name is Frank Zappa. You're like, okay, yeah, right, yeah, you're Frank Zappa. Okay, no problem. How can I help you? And they don't, and they don't have a clue what you're talking about. And you're like, I'm calling you for help on this. They don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, I'm sure everybody, the minute they go, they have to call customer service. That's what they're saying. I am already. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. Says a slaughterhouse worker.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
That's probably so much of that you can take too.
Yeah, I'll bet. A promotional mascot. Wearing a huge, gigantic costume, looking stupid, and being in the heat.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That would do it.
Yeah. There was one, they show a picture of one. Oh my gosh. All right, I have to say all this correctly. It was a man dressed as a set of balls for testicular cancer awareness. And he had to run in that outfit.
He was dressed as a pair of dildos.
Yes. And he has hair coming out of him. I'm looking at the picture. It's ridiculous.
And he's running?
Yeah. In a marathon. Dressed as a set of testes. Yeah.
Well, he's got.
Okay. That's a first for me. Now, I've been around a lot of running events and a lot of runners, but I don't ever recall seeing a pair of balls while running.
Thanks for
I'm
pointing.
going to go with no.
Thanks for adjusting that at the end.
I'm going with no.
Yes. Definitely.
Sometimes I really wish that there were certain things that we could share.
Yes.
It even has a smiley face. Ladies and gentlemen, has 2 eyeballs and teeth. It's smiling.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's definitely a interesting thing.
I think he is a Brazilian now.
Oh my heavens! Yeah, I was a little shocked when I was like, okay, all right. Apparently, a traffic. No wait. Well, they said traffic warden. That's a ticket cop. What do you call those? Meter maids or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, that's a horrible job. Animal food taster. Oh, here we go. That's the one you were talking about.
Yep. Yeah, that one. No, thank you.
Porta potty cleaner. Oh wow, that would be a bad.
Oh, I can tell you about a story about that, but she definitely won't be on iHeart.
No, that's a crappy job. Let's move on next.
Let's just say it was like one of the coldest days in Duluth and Superior, and that guy pulled up at the job site where there was 4 porta potties, and I'm guessing everything was either very, very firm or completely frozen, and that guy completely lost his crap. You felt bad for him, but I mean, he was like in there, like swearing to himself.
I don't want to know. Don't want to know. Don't want to know.
How about roadkill remover? Faced with the grueling task of collecting and disposing of dead animals left on the side of the road, they never know what they're going to encounter.
You mean like the deer that, in the process of picking it up and putting it in your vehicle, basically explodes?
Yes.
Mm.
Oh, Eric, here it is. Oh my gosh. All right, here it is. Here's the one Eric was talking about. Animal masturbator. You would not believe it, but it is a legitimate job. There are times when semen needs to be collected from an animal for fertilization or for a study, and this is where the animal masturbator comes in. Their role is to extract sperm from the animal, either manually or with electric stimulation. Okay. Yeah.
Just another moment lost. If you could
Yes.
just see John's face.
Yeah, indeed. That was that's okay. All right.
There actually is a title called
Can you
Accounting Man.
imagine? Can you imagine going on a date and having that job? So what do you do? Oh, please don't make me say.
Wow, John sure had a firm handshake. No comment.
Oh man, that's just something you keep to yourself. You lie, definitely lie.
Yeah.
I work
Not
at
good for a
McDonald's.
date. Not good for a date.
Why do you need a toilet sniffer? I'm just curious.
It'd be like for Cher's green room, I think.
Ooh, here's one. I knew about this job. But I never really went too far into looking at it. But I'd heard about it. The crime scene cleaners.
Oh yeah.
No, those are the people that, no matter what, you're going into a situation where everything is way old because you don't clean it up as soon as something happens. So that if someone passes or is in a gets killed or whatever, bludgeoned or whatever the heck happens, they got to go in and clean that up after the investigation. So everything's always going to be really bad.
Mm.
Says it's a job for only the most hardened. Crime scene cleaners responsible for making things nice again and tidying up after homicides, suicides, and accidents. Performing the job includes removing blood stains, bloody parts, bodily fluids, and other gory things from in and around the scene. Crime scene cleaner needs high endurance for the job because it takes hours to clean it up, depending on how bad the scene is. Ugh.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Pass.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that at all. I do not think that would be good.
No.
Small Money says Mike Rowe had all those jobs. He probably has done all those
He has done a lot of them.
jobs.
Deodorant tester.
I've heard of that one. That's the armpit sniffers.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the armpit sniffers. But I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't think that. It's gonna be. It has a disgusting way about it, but they've got deodorant on, so I mean,
Yeah, but still. Yuck.
Hold on. You say yuck, all right? But those pictures you put out every Friday, I want you to stop for a second, all right? So it's you and Pam, all right? Evolme's sister. You and Pam. You find out the jobs are opening. It's those guys you put in the pictures. Okay? No, yuck. Remember?
He doesn't
Yuck.
hungry anymore.
Yuck. Remember? Yuck.
They're not yuck. They're fabulous.
But there's 30 of those. They got
Friday.
30 of. There are 30 of those guys, and they want you to sniff their armpits.
Or the after on the toilet paper to see how it's doing.
So there you go.
It's a
What's
red zone. I am so not going there.
What's the answer?
So,
You're standing there looking at 30
anyways.
of those, and they're like,
So Yeah.
Are you the sniffer girl?
So
All you have
so
to say is yes.
tall, dark, and ripped just took a dookie, and it's your job to sniff the bowl.
No, I don't do shitters.
Oh my heavens.
No.
All right.
Cutter.
This has been a joke forever, but I cannot believe it's actually a job. It's always been a joke though. My whole life I've always heard it as a joke. I'm
What?
gonna sit around and watch paint dry. Apparently, there is a job
People that do that.
where they want you to watch paint dry in different scenarios, on walls outside, on walls inside, on furniture, just to see what changes it takes and how apparently the colors change as it goes. Oh my word. Watching paint dry. Wow. I'd have to phone that one in. Knowing me, I'd be like setting cameras up with a high speed and go, there we go, that's fine. I'll watch this in high speed.
That'd be a very boring job. I think that would be more boring than doing the assembly line.
Can you imagine that? God. Well, the assembly line, they're saying that it's just the repetition. I mean, if you get a job that, like, what's considered a good hourly wage in Minnesota? What's a good hourly wage?
I don't know.
15, 16?
I'd say 16 an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a job that pays $18 an hour. All right, $18 an hour, and it's pushing 5 screws into 5 different holes and twisting them, and you've got 30 seconds to do it. So you think, okay, great. After about 10 months of doing that for 8 hours a day, every 30 seconds you do the exact same thing. How long before your brain fries?
You're no kidding. No, thanks.
I mean, there are people that those assembly jobs. There are people who do them, but I mean, wow. And a car is a different thing, I suppose, because you're picking up something, you're moving it, you're putting a brake on, or whatever. But I mean, there are dumb assembly jobs for like toys and stuff like that, where they just literally push your jobs, put thing of screws. They have a high speed screwdriver in, done. Move on, next one, in, done. You're an expert in the first day, I bet.
Oh yeah, not much to it. The one that I came across I thought was kind of funny is a professional stand-in liner.
Actually, huge business.
But strange. I mean,
No, huge. No,
huge, but
massively popular.
strange.
Where Joey's from, it's huge. It's massive.
Really?
Okay, you want to get all of a sudden you hear Motley Crue's coming back. They're
Yeah.
coming back to town. It's a one-time tour. All right.
Yeah.
You drive by in the morning. There's 50 people out there already. They don't go on sale. They do not go on sale for another 2 days. All right. As you go by, you see a guy saying, "I'll stand in line for tickets for you." He'll stand in line for tickets for you for $100. Would you get the guy to stand in line for tickets for you?
That's crazy.
That seems like money well spent.
You get to go home. You get to go to bed. You get to go to work those 2 days and all that. But Friday, after you get off, you get to go pick up your tickets. It costs you $100 extra because the guy stood in line.
I think
Would
that's
you-
crazy for the person that's doing it.
They
that's
do it
what
for
I'm-
but they do it for iPhones. They do it for all kinds of stuff. It's a huge thing.
That's
There's
crazy.
been entire YouTube videos on people out there, and you get down there and you find out all these people, half the people that are in line, the phones aren't even for them.
Wow.
They're not even for them. But it releases tomorrow, and you can make the most money if you have professional people in line. And each one,
Yeah.
in other words, let's say you're allowed to buy 2, right?
Yeah.
And I want to make a ton of money off the launch of the iPhone 20. All right, here it comes. So I pay a bunch of people to stand in that line, and they get enough money to buy 2 phones, and they come back to me. Now I have X number of iPhones. I'm first. I have all the iPhones. I can get them online right away. Because once they sell out those things, then everybody's waiting forever. They don't want to wait. People will pay more money to have them right now.
Oh.
They want that instant gratification.
Exactly.
That's a very popular job, though. That is a very
I don't doubt that it's not a very popular job, but I'm just saying that's kind of crazy for the person that's got to stand there for hours or days on end.
But imagine if I said to you, I got a hard job for you, Christine. What? Real job. Hard job. What? You're going to camp out. You're going to camp out in the middle of the city. It's not that hard. You have your own little tent, your own sleeping bag, everything. Right there. All you do is camp out right there. I'll come by and bring everybody breakfast in the morning. You're sitting beside a building for a few days and you camp out.
Yeah.
I could do it.
I don't know.
Jeff says he couldn't do it. It's too damn boring. Douglas had a good one. That's another good one up there that I don't understand. It's just a terrible job, I think. Sign holders. You know those dress up like a hot dog and hold a sign.
Yeah. Yeah. We just saw that yesterday. One of the stores are going out of business, and he's holding the sign. He looked bored to tears.
Spinners.
The sign, the people that hold the signs.
Well, and like Vegas, the strip is covered with guys that are like literally spinning these things. It's like an art form. Around here, we just have the sitters.
Well, I mean, and I remember in Hawaii, when I was in Hawaii, oh friggin' the paper passers. Oh my God, what a horrible job. Everybody walking down the street, they're trying to get you. Oh, here. Everybody's handing you a paper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you took all the papers, you'd have no more pockets left. You'd have just so many papers. Everybody, I mean, every rental place, everywhere, everyone's trying to shove a coupon in your face. I would hate that. That'd be a crappy job. But if you're in Hawaii, I suppose it'd be all right. You know, I'm standing in Hawaii, so yeah, okay, whatever.
No thanks. Mm-mm.
Forget about it.
I wonder if the guards at Buckingham Palace consider that job to be crappy.
Well, I don't know if it would be boring because you always get people that are trying to make you, break your stance, concentration, whatever you want to call it. So I would imagine that there's some people that do some pretty crazy things to try to get you to crack a smile or whatever. Yeah. And if you live in Tokyo, you can rent a boyfriend.
Right, wait a minute. That's a prostitute, right?
No, it's in Tokyo. If you have the money, finding a boyfriend is easy as it gets. You don't really know you don't really want a boyfriend all the time, but you want him for movies, dinner, things like that. Yep, they got him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well said. The Marine at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. I don't know if that would be. I don't know, because when you're dealing with something like that, I mean, it could be the same thing for the guards at Buckingham Palace too. I mean, there's a certain degree of honor, of so much of an honor there that you're there, that I don't know if that outweighs it. I know I did not like guard duty like that. I didn't have that particular one. I've done guard duty like when we were at what's that parade field across in San Francisco there. It was during the when we did salute to the USS Missouri on her decom and her recom. We had our howitzers there in the rocks there, so we could fire salute. But once they were in position, we have to have guards on them at all times.
Oh yeah.
So you were there for. I mean, oh my God, you're just standing there. Oh, all day. Mm-hmm. You're just standing there. It's not hard, but it also. If someone says to you, here's the simplest thing in the world, stand right in the middle of the kitchen. Just stand in the middle of your kitchen, and then they tell you, I want you to stand there. Just stay right there in that one spot for today.
Yeah, don't
That's
move.
It. You don't have to do anything. There's no work involved. There's nothing. You're just frigging standing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Boy, it gets hard.
Yeah.
It gets hard after a while. Presidio, I think that's it, Ed. Yeah, I think that's it. It's a big parade field. I know we got in trouble because when the choppers came in, That's when the guard duty got real serious. It was let's see, what was a decom? Was it 80? Was it 86 or whatever, or 85 or 86? I'm trying to think what it was, but when the choppers were there, they wanted to bring out all the Apache and all that. They brought all those out there. That's when the guard duty got real serious. But we damaged tiles. Apparently, there's like running tiles or whatever all over the place.
Yeah.
A bunch of those got damaged when we landed the choppers there. Well, I didn't land it when the choppers landed there. Get to the chop. Oh.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't have any more that I
Yeah, Small Money says they have a police memorial outside his office. Every time they have a ceremony, at least one officer goes down from standing at attention. Yeah, it's you know what? It can be something else. It really can be. 'Cause when we got president, all units go through it, but you get presidential funeral detail, so you train for that. And as we well know, you it very rarely gets used, but there's always, believe it or not, there is always a team in the event the president is assassinated or dies. I mean, we're talking 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There is always a team ready, and they're the ones that take care of the folding of the flag ceremony and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it rotates around. I remember when we did that. Oh my heavens! I had to stand there forever. Oh, it was you're just practicing. That's it. You just stand there. So what else? Anything else you got?
No, I don't have anything really more on my list as we're going through this, trying to figure it all out.
Well, it'll be better next time because we'll be more prepared. But
yeah, sorry, this kind of happened on the fly, and
you know, it's a fun topic. It's a fun topic.
it was a fun topic.
So on that note, I guess we are gonna be out of here. We'll see everybody next week.
Everybody have a good night and a good week ahead.